Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. MC-Mura here, and in today's video I wanted to talk about meaty attacks in Street Fighter V, how they work and how you can have better understanding of them, and potentially how the upcoming V-shift mechanic might affect them and might affect grappling characters like Mika as well. And I wanted to talk about Mika, and I wanted to have Ibuki as the dummy character because Ibuki will highlight everything that you will need to know about the wake up mechanics in Street Fighter V and meaty system. One of the better things about Mika is the Brimstone command grab, because after a dash, if you notice here, after I Brimstone Ibuki and dash, I will be at a +2 situation, right? Street Fighter V have a priority system. Basically, heavy attacks beats medium and lights, and medium beats light. Heavy attacks have the highest priority, and lights have the lowest. This means that if, say, a medium attack collide with a light attack at the same time, the medium will beat out the light. And Mika, for example, have a 5-frame standing medium punch. This hits on the 5th frame. Because I am +2, my character Mika is allowed to move, or her move will come out 2 frames before Ibuki's. And remember, Ibuki's jab is 3 frame. So my 5 frame medium punch will have to collide with Ibuki's 3 frame. So what's gonna happen is this. If you noticed, I landed a counter hit, and the reason that I landed a counter hit is because my standing medium punch hit on the 3rd frame. The 3rd frame being Ibuki's 3 frame attack. Basically, we both hit each other at the same time, right? So when this happens, you will get a normal counter hit. And many meaty attacks in Street Fighter V work in that way. And this is very important, because if Ibuki didn't wake up with a jab and instead wake up with her light DB, the light DB is also a 3 frame attack. So what's gonna happen here, let's do a Brimstone. What's gonna happen is that we are gonna trade. A trade is gonna happen because special moves does not fall into the priority system. So we are just, my light punch or my medium punch is colliding with her DB. That's it. There is no priority system here. So my medium punch isn't winning. We are trading pretty much. However, if I, instead of doing my medium punch, did my jabs, my jab is 3 frame, or like let's say we're gonna do our standing light punch. Standing light punch is 4 frame, right? I am +2, so I will hit Ibuki on the 2nd frame, right? So this means that I got a counter hit. My attack hit her on frame number 2. Her move hadn't come out yet, so my jab won. And here is the significance of the V-shift mechanic. I personally strongly believe that V-shift will activate from frame 3, not from frame 2. So for example, what this entails is, if say Ibuki's, let's record Ibuki doing a backdash, right? Let's here have Ibuki doing a backdash, because I have a theory on this, and I will tell you why I think it is that way. So for example, let's hear Ibuki have a backdash. We're gonna do the same thing. Notice that she was air flipped, right? This backdash will of course evade throws, and it will air flip out of my medium punch. And that is what I expect the V shift to be. I expect it to be active on frame 3, right? So does this mean the end of Mika? Is this the end of the grappling characters? I don't think so, because at +2, most of the time Mika is gonna be doing something like this anyways, right? You're gonna do something like jab jab, and I strongly believe that V-shift will be on frame 3, and allow me to tell you why. First of all, on the trailer, they almost always showed it being used against 3 frame gaps, right? The one time we saw it being used on Wake Up, it was in the Dan matchup, and if you noticed, Dan did a very delayed crouching heavy punch. And this, to me, screams that it's gonna be on frame 3. And there is another very big, there is a very big hint to me that it is on frame 3. The hint is that if it was done on frame 1, it will pretty much guarantee that all other defensive options will be obsolete, because there is only one defensive option that is available on frame 1, and that defensive option is EXDBs. If this mechanic was available on frame 1, this means pretty much that EXDBs are useless. Why would Capcom have a game where you could EXDB and get crush countered on block, or potentially use a free get out of jail card? So I think what's honestly gonna happen is that the V-shift will hit on frame 3. And if it is hitting on frame 3, it's honestly not that big of a deal for a grappling character like Mika. Honestly, it's not even a big deal, because you're still, stuff like that will still work. You will still be able to check them with something like jab and then getting an EX command grab, whatever. That stuff will still work. They will not be able to escape out of your initial crouching light punch or initial Oki, right? Most grappler characters honestly have very similar Oki to that. What is gonna be affected by a lot, if it is frame 3 or not, is attacks like Mika's charge drop kick. This attack could very well be done for. I would have no idea how Mika could ever use this attack again, right? Now let's talk about block strings, because this is also another thing that's really important. If the attack is active from the first frame or not. For example, here we will have Ibuki try to backdash, right? If it is active on frame 3, it means that Mika doing, for example, jab to standing medium punch, this will get shifted. The V-shift will work against that, because we've seen Ryu doing that and the opponent was able to shift. However, remember that we never saw Ryu doing it empty, and the one time he didn't cancel into Fireball, he was able to punish Rashid. So assuming that the V-shift will be available on frame number 3, this will mean that block strings like that one for Mika will be able to get shifted, but I also think this will be really safe, because Mika usually hit confirm the medium punch. You don't do it as a cancel, right? So I think for that it was gonna be safe pretty much. It will be able to do what Ryu did in the video, and you will still have block strings like that one to pressure your opponent with, right? So I think that is fine, honestly. I think what's gonna get nerfed the most out of V-shift is attacks like her dropkick, attacks like Urien's EX knee, Bison Devil Reverse, Honda's butt slams. I think these type of attacks are gonna be significantly weaker. In my opinion, V-shift is pretty much a crime sway, right? It is Cody's V-skill 2. It is a metered version of Cody's V-skill 2, which is still really nice. But I don't, and it is amazing. Like, don't get me wrong, it is still amazing. But I don't think it will completely change everything about the game as we know it, because you can't spam it, and since it is tied to a resource, I don't think it will be as spammable as we might have feared originally. That is my speculation. Every defensive mechanic in Street Fighter V have a big drawback to it. Like EXDBs get, crush countered, backdashes are only throw invulnerable, they get crush countered also, wake up buttons of course gets counter hit, V reversals gets thrown. Every single one of them have a big drawback, and that's what makes me firmly believe that V-shift is gonna be like a meterless DB or a parry or a crime sway. It's gonna be a read based defensive option that does have high risk to it. Because for example, if Ibuki did this, and we assume that she tried to V-shift, she just lost 1 bar of her V-trigger, which of course is very costly. And that's pretty much it for today's video. If you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like or a comment. It helps the channel so much. Thank you very much for watching and stay safe.